Hello, if you're new to my channel, my name is Sammy. If you are a returning subscriber, hi, hey girl, thank you for subscribing and thank you for returning. I just want to jump right into the tutorial today. I'm doing an open cut crease on my friend Ty, and it's really nice, so I'm excited for you guys to see it. We're even doing a little wing liner. So I'm going ahead and I'm priming her skin with some Dickinson's Witch Hazel, and now I'm going to go straight into the brows, and I'm using my LA Girl Brow Pomade. It's a soft black color. Her brows are a little bit darker, and they're also a little bit thinner, so I like to use pomade for brows that are kind of thin, just so I can add a little bit more to it. I think that it's hard to make a brow thicker with pencils, so I'm going to use this pomade just to give her brows some definition and some shape, and to outline her brows first, and then I'll fill it in with pencil. So you see here that I went ahead and I outlined her brow and just shaped her brow first. I start with the top, as you guys can see, as I'm doing the other brow, and then I outline the bottom. So I line the top first, line the bottom, and then I go ahead and I start to fill it in. I think that it's important to have shape to the brow, especially if they have thin brows. It's important to just add a shape or really define it this way first, instead of going ahead and just filling it in. It kind of works as a nice little outline for you guys. So those are done. Now I'm taking my Absolute New York pencil in the color Smoke, and I am going in and just doing small hair-like strokes in her brow to make it look as natural as possible. Notice that I'm resting my pinky on her face just to give me a little bit more leverage and control over the pencil and the strokes that I am making in her brow, so they don't look too harsh. And it also allows me to control the pressure that I'm using on her eyebrow as well. So I move around quite a bit when I'm doing brows, just so I can get the eyebrow from a different angle. You're not going to be able to fill in, at least I'm not able to fill in the brow to its entirety in one position. So I like to move back and forth across the face on either side of the face and position my hand in different ways, just to give me, like I said before, a little bit more control over the eyebrow and over the pencil as well. Also, notice where I'm holding the brow pencil. I'm holding it fairly close to the tip. This gives me more control over the pencil itself, and it just allows me to be able to fill it in comfortably. So that's a good tip for you guys, for beginners as well. So now I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills number 18 brush. I use this brush for everybody's eyebrows because it's such a good brush. It's synthetic, it's flat, the product will sit right on top of it, and it'll give you a nice smooth line. Again, notice how I'm holding the brush, and notice how I'm resting my hand on her face. Again, this allows me to draw a very smooth, straight, and sharp line. And I notice that I'm not rushing through this. I'm moving slow, and yeah, just taking my time. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn to highlight, do her brow cleanup and do the highlight under her brow. But yeah, I just take my time. I rest my hand on their face somewhere. Excuse me, my voice sounds a little hoarse. I'm just coming off of a cold, guys, so bear with me. But yeah, I just take my time during the brows, because if you don't take your time, it'll really show after you're finished the face. If you don't take the time to fix those little things that you may think that people might not see in your work, they will see it. So it's important to be very detail oriented, take your time, and just focus. Like literally when I'm doing brows, my whole body is focused. Like I probably don't even breathe when I'm doing eyebrows. Like it's actually, that sounds like really extreme, but like just because I'm just trying to be so focused on drawing the line, and you know, just really making sure that my hand is steady and it's drawing a very steady and complete line. I just try to stay as focused as possible. So resting my hand on the face really helps. Also, another technique that I use when I'm doing brows is, if you notice the way my thumb is positioned on her head, it's positioned pulling the brow up just a little bit. I don't really know how to explain this other than the fact that when you pull the skin up a little bit, it makes it a little bit more tighter. So there's not, I guess, as much looseness with the skin. So when you're trying to draw a straight line like this, it allows for more focus, more comfortability on the line. I guess it's more comfortable for me, and also it allows the product to go on a little bit more smoother, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but you just have to try it for yourself when you're doing other people's eyebrows, because it makes it 10 times easier when you kind of pull the skin up a little bit, just so you can get under the brow, and just so you can kind of smooth the product out under the brow, and also just really get in with your brush without having to worry about, you know, it being unsteady, or you're not, you know, you're messing up or anything like that. So I wish I could explain it better to you guys, but I'm not really sure exactly how to explain it. But I just know that the skin kind of tightens up a little bit when you pull on it, so it's easier for you to blend out your product without having to worry about the foundation, I guess, of the skin to be not smooth. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. You guys just try it for yourself, and you will see how much easier it is when you're blending out product. And speaking of blending out product, I am now going in with my Morphe I want to say this is an E39 brush, and I am just blending out that concealer. I know you guys saw that as I was talking, I was pulling the concealer down onto the eyelid, and now I'm blending the concealer out. Again, pulling up on her skin, on the brows. This just allows me to really get in there and blend out without worrying about having to mess up or anything like that. Make sure that you really get under the brow as well, so there's no harsh lines or no halos there. So now I went in and I matched her foundation, and I'm using that on the top to carve out the top of her brow. I use foundation because using concealer just doesn't look nice. Like, you don't want to use your highlight shade that you used on the bottom of your brow on the top of your brow. It's not appealing to the eye, and it doesn't blend with the rest of your face. So always use like a concealer that is like the same skin tone as you, or your foundation, to carve out the top of the brow so it looks more natural. And also notice that I just took my time and I dragged that concealer over the top of the brow, made sure that the line was straight, and just took my time, dragged it across. Didn't rush or anything. There's no need to rush. Brows are like the most important part of the face, so you really want to make sure you take your time on them. So now we're going to jump right into eyes. I went ahead and I primed her eyelid already with the same concealer that I used to clean up her brow. This is a LA Girl Pro Concealer in Fawn. And now I'm going in with a Morphe M441 brush, and I'm just tapping this color. This is going to be used as her transition color and her crease color. Excuse me. I'm just tapping that color into her crease. I actually ended up switching brushes midway into blending, just because that brush just doesn't place enough product on at the consistency that I like it. So I switched to a Sigma E38 brush, and it's a fluffy brush, but you can kind of use the sides of the brush to pack the concealer into the crease. And this is okay. Now I can kind of explain like lifting up the brow and pull it on the skin. When you pull on the skin, especially when blending, you're allowing yourself to really get into the crease and blend those colors out. A lot of times, if you just leave the brow the way it is, you can't really, it doesn't allow for the brush to really have room to work in the crease. That's what I'm looking for. So I find that like kind of pulling the skin up, placing your thumb above the brow and pulling the skin up so you can kind of open up their crease a little bit will allow you to get your brush in there and blend the colors out really evenly. So I'm taking a reddish brown shade, and I'm blending out that tan that I put. These colors are all from the Morphe 398 palette, which I love to use for natural colors or for transition colors because it's just so good. It has so many different varieties of colors in it. So now I'm going in with a dark brown color from the Morphe 350 Nature Glow palette, and I'm taking Morphe brush. I don't know exactly which one it is. I'll have to put that in the description box for you guys. And I'm packing that dark brown really concentrated into her crease area. And then I'm going to go in circular motions, and I'm going to just blend that out a little bit. I don't want to blend it out too much because I don't want to lose the color, but I want to blend it out enough. So I went in with the first color that I used, the tan color, the transition color, and I'm going in with the Morphe 441 brush, M441 brush, which doesn't have a lot of product on it. That's why I'm using this to blend out the dark brown crease shade, because I don't want to diffuse the color so much to where you can't see it anymore, especially because we're going to be doing like an open cut crease today. So you still want to be able to see the color, the dark brown shade, even after I do the cut crease, just because it really adds depth to the eye. So I'm just going in now with my other brush, the brush that I used to blend out the tan color. It has a little bit of red on it, and I was just going out and really just blending everything out. So now we're gonna go in with the cut crease. We'll start with the cut crease. I'm using the same Anastasia number 18 brush. This brush gets really flat, so it's good for cut creases. And I'm just taking my time drawing a line. You see, I'm taking little short strokes on the eye. I'm not drawing a line consistently. I'm just kind of like tapping on the product, and I'm going right above her crease. You can't really see it right now. You won't really be able to see it until I'm finished. It's so hard like to really film this like so you guys can see it clearly, but I tried my best. So I'm hoping that you guys can learn or see something from this. But I'm going right above where her eye would kind of fold, and I'm drawing the cut crease. Again, taking my time, short little strokes, making sure that the line is crisp. And we're not closing the cut crease. Remember, this is an open cut crease, so we're going to wing it out right there. And now we're going to go on to the other eye. And I'm using the same technique, pulling the skin up so I can really get into the crease and allow for a nice smooth line. Especially on the eyelid, because our eyelids can tend to have like little wrinkles and bumps and stuff. So pulling up on the eyebrow is really ideal, just so you can get a nice smooth line. Because if you didn't pull up on the eyebrow just to tighten the skin up a little bit, it'd be hard to kind of draw the cut crease, and it would also be hard to really get into the crease. So when working with eyes and eyebrows, this is just a really good technique to use. So I went in and I filled in those cut creases with concealer. And now I'm going in with a fluffy brush. This is a Sigma E40 brush. It's just a little bit bigger than the E38 that I was using in her crease. And I'm tapping off the excess concealer. Just because if you put matte shadow on a wet cut crease, it can start to crack and crease the shadows, so you don't want it to be too wet. So I just go and tap off the excess cut crease concealer. And now I'm going to go in with the same brush, and I'm going to add a matte shadow from the Morphe 350 Nature Glow palette, and I'm going to tap that on. I like to tap them on with a fluffy brush. It allows for a more even application. I learned this when I was watching some of Kiki Adams' videos. I love her. I watch her all the time. And I never thought to like use a fluffy brush. But now that I think about it, before when I was doing cut creases, I was using a flat brush to apply the cut crease shadow, and it would always crease, and I wasn't sure why. So now that you guys know, and now that I know, always just tap the excess concealer off and then apply with a fluffy brush, because then it allows for a more even application. So I added tape because we're gonna do a wing. I'm not too good with freestyling wings, so I like to use tape to get the process done a lot quicker. And I'm using the NYX black gel liner, and I'm using a Anastasia Beverly Hills number 7 brush, and I just kind of drew like a little faint line following her lash line, and then I'm gonna start to bring it up and wing it out. Now here I am, I'm just making it a little bit thicker. I don't want them to be too thick, but just thick enough. So the first wing is done. If you guys want a detailed video on like how to do wings and stuff like that, would be more than happy to record it. I just have to figure out how I need to set up my camera and stuff so you guys can see, because it can be really hard because I need to like see what I'm doing. So I find myself sometimes standing in front of the camera. More so only when I'm doing the right eye though. Like as you can see here, I'm doing the left eye, excuse me. And you guys can see more of what I'm doing in my technique. So I'm just kind of perfecting the wing, and I'm gonna start filling it in soon. So they're both done, and now I'm going in with a primer. This is the Too Faced primer, the Hangover primer, like that I always use. I need to invest in some more primers, but for now this one is a good all-around primer for the skin. And I'm blending that out with a MAC 130 brush. This is like a stippling brush. It's good for applying primer and foundation as well. Man, this cough is horrible. So now I'm going in with the foundations that I mixed for her. I want to say that I mixed Fit Me 335 and 356 for her. Yeah, so I'm just applying that with a concealer brush all over her face, making sure that I cover every area of her face, just so when I blend out it's super even. And I'm using the Real Techniques Instapop face brush to blend in her foundation. So now we're gonna go in with the Fawn LA Girl Pro Concealer, and we're just going to place that under her eyes and down her chin. And now I'm gonna blend that out with the Tarte sponge, and it's damp. Making sure that I'm really getting into the creases and bringing up the concealer to the bottom of her waterline. Now I'm going in and I'm just setting her. I'm not using a lot of setting powder. I'm using the Shaded by Jade Go Bananas powder, and I'm just kind of pressing that into her skin. And now I applied her contour. I used the black opal stick, foundation stick. I'll have the exact color for you in the description box. But I'm using the side of the Beauty Blender to blend out her contour. And once that's blended out, I'm going in with my Real Techniques blush brush. I like to use this as a bronzing brush too, just because it's such a nice rounded dome, and if it's into the face, the contours of the face real easily. So I like to use that as well. But I'm using the CoverGirl Ebony Bronze Bronzer from the Queen Collection. Now I'm just contouring her just a teeny bit. I'm using the MAC 109 brush, and I'm just using a dark brown eyeshadow from the Morphe Nature Glow palette. Anyone will work for her skin tone. So now I'm going in, applying a little bit of blush, using the MAC Sweetest Cocoa brush. And this is before. She's so pretty. Excuse me, gosh. And this is the after, guys. I really, really, really love this. And I hope you guys do too. I will have another tutorial posted probably sometime next week. It will be the blue cut crease that you guys have seen me post on my page. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video was a little bit longer, but I appreciate it if you have made it all the way to the end. I love you guys so much. And I will see you guys in my next tutorial. Thanks again. Bye.